The Grund beneath your feet isn't solid anymore.
The plans you made with such certainty last month feel like they belong to someone else. The version of yourself you were so sure about seems to be dissolving, and you're standing in what feels like empty space, wondering if you've lost your way. But what if I told you that this isn't collapse? What if this is the most sacred thing that could happen to you right now? What if everything that feels like it's falling apart is actually falling into perfect alignment with a future you haven't even imagined yet? You see, there's something no one tells you about transformation. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't arrive with a clear instruction manual. It begins with a whisper so quiet you almost miss it, and then slowly, methodically, it starts to dismantle everything that was never truly yours to begin with. Right now, you might be looking around at your life and thinking something has gone terribly wrong. The job that once excited you feels hollow. The relationships that once sustained you feel distant. The dreams you once chased with passion now feel like echoes from another lifetime. You're questioning everything, and that questioning feels dangerous, like you're betraying the person you promised you'd become. But questioning isn't betrayal. Questioning is awakening. And awakening, real awakening, requires the courage to admit that the life you've been living might not be the life you're meant to live. This is the season of the great unbecoming. The universe has been watching you try to fit into spaces that were too small, watching you dim your light to make others comfortable, watching you choose security over authenticity again and again. And now, with infinite patience and love, it's creating circumstances that make it impossible for you to continue living as anyone other than who you truly are. The discomfort you're feeling isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're finally on the right one. Your soul is expanding, and expansion always creates pressure against the old containers. The relationships that can't hold your new frequency will naturally fade. The environments that can't support your growth will become unbearable. The versions of yourself that were based on pleasing others will start to feel like costumes that no longer fit. This isn't punishment. This is liberation in its rawest form. Think about a butterfly in its chrysalis. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. From the inside, complete dissolution is taking place. The caterpillar doesn't gradually become a butterfly. It literally dissolves into what scientists call imaginal soup, before reorganizing into something entirely new. There's no going back. There's no partial transformation. There's only the complete surrender to becoming what it was always meant to be. You are in your chrysalis moment right now. Everything that once defined you is becoming soup so that something magnificent can emerge. But unlike the butterfly, you're conscious during this process. You can feel the dissolution happening, and it's terrifying because your mind wants to grasp onto something solid, something familiar, something that makes sense. But sense isn't what's required right now. Trust is what's required. Trust in the intelligence that beats your heart without your conscious effort. Trust in the force that grows flowers from seeds buried in darkness. Trust in the cosmic choreography that's been orchestrating your life long before you learn to worry about outcomes. The people in your life who are meant to stay will stay. The ones who aren't will find reasons to leave, and you need to let them. Not because you don't love them, but because love sometimes means releasing people to find what you cannot give them, just as it means releasing yourself to become who they cannot see you as. The opportunities that are meant for you will find you. The ones that aren't will close their doors, no matter how hard you try to force them open. This isn't rejection. This is redirection towards something better aligned with your authentic frequency. The version of yourself you've been trying to be will fade away. The masks you've worn will become too heavy to carry. The roles you've played will no longer bring you joy. This isn't loss. This is liberation from a performance that was exhausting your soul. Right now, in this very moment, you're being invited to step into the most authentic version of yourself you've ever been. Not the version that looks good on paper. Not the version that meets everyone else's expectations. Not the version that plays it safe or small or acceptable. The version that is undeniably, unapologetically, magnificently you. This version of you doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. This version of you doesn't need external validation to feel worthy. This version of you doesn't need to dim their light so others feel comfortable. This version of you trusts their intuition more than other people's opinions. This version of you chooses authenticity over approval every single time. But becoming this version requires you to walk through the fire of uncertainty. It requires you to sit in the discomfort of not knowing what comes next. It requires you to release your death grip on control and surrender to the intelligence that's been guiding you all along. The path forward isn't about finding yourself.
You were never lost.
The path forward is about uncovering yourself, peeling away the layers of conditioning and expectations and fear that have been covering up your true essence like dust on a diamond. Every uncomfortable feeling you're experiencing right now is just another layer being removed. Every old structure that's crumbling is just making space for something more beautiful. Every door that's closing is directing you toward the door that's meant to open. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step from a place of trust rather than fear. You just need to choose authenticity over comfort one more time. You just need to listen to the whisper of your soul rather than the shouting of your doubts. The universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't look that way. Especially when it doesn't look that way. The delays are divine timing. The rejections are redirections. The breakdowns are breakthroughs waiting to be recognized. Your job isn't to make it all make sense. Your job is to stay open, stay curious, stay willing to be surprised by how beautifully everything can unfold when you stop trying to control it and start trusting it instead. This season of your life, this period of great unbecoming, is preparing you for the greatest becoming you've ever experienced. Everything that's leaving is making space for everything that's coming. Everything that's ending is making way for everything that's beginning.
You're not falling apart. You're falling awake. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. You're not being abandoned by the universe. You're being invited by the universe to step into the life you were born to live.
The discomfort is temporary. The growth is permanent.
The fear will fade.
The truth will remain. And on the other side of this transformation, you'll look back at this moment and understand that it wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of your real story. The story where you finally become the main character instead of a supporting actor in your own life. The story where you trust your inner voice more than external noise. The story where you choose love over fear, authenticity over approval, and possibility over limitation.
This is your invitation. This is your moment.
This is your time to shed everything that was never truly yours and step into everything that has always been waiting for you. The chrysalis is dissolving. The butterfly is ready to emerge. And the world is waiting to witness the magnificence of who you're becoming. Trust the process.
Trust the journey. Trust yourself.
Everything is unfolding exactly as it should be, even if you can't see it yet. Especially if you can't see it yet.
Your transformation is inévitable.
Your authenticity is unstoppable. Your becoming is already begun. Welcome to the most important season of your life. Welcome to your great becoming.